Welcome to Reinvent Yourself, the best awareness and self-improvement channel on YouTube. Today's video topic is 7 habits to become more charming and attractive. We will discuss how to be charming and appealing. Before we get into the video, don't forget to comment, like, and subscribe to the channel. Have you ever seen someone who is charming? They seem to have a natural capacity to make you feel comfortable in their presence, and they always have an interesting story to share. It appears that some people are just that way by nature. They walk into a room and everyone notices them. Everyone listens intently to everything they say because they attract attention like magnets. We frequently ponder how those people are able to have such alluring personalities. Is there a special recipe? Why are they the way they are? Were they just that way from birth? The solution is that we can all interact with people and pique their curiosity about us. There is no special recipe for it. It all comes down to a few traits that charming people have and that you can easily and quickly pick up. Rule number 1 of charming people: pay complete attention. Consider 2 or 3 of the likable persons you know for a moment. When you are speaking to them, do they frequently check their phone? Do they frequently turn the subject of conversation to themselves so they can command attention? Most likely not. In fact, they all give you their full attention and focus the conversation on you, which is something that distinguishes them from other individuals. They are perceptive in their questioning and really curious about how things are going in your life. They recall what you said to them during your most recent encounter. Most importantly, you get the impression that they really like you. They put more emphasis on actually being interested than on seeming interesting. Briefly, here's how to put this practice to use. Always make an effort to offer someone your full attention. Put your phone away, look them in the eye, and allow them to drive the discussion. Rule number 2 of charming: express your sincere admiration for others. I enrolled in a course to earn a business English certificate many years ago. I took a test and had a conversation with an instructor who was a native English speaker before registering to determine my level of proficiency. Though at first I wasn't sure why, I recall feeling extremely determined and self-assured when I left the institution. After giving it some more attention, I understood what caused that feeling. During the interview, the teacher admitted to me that despite spending more than 10 years in Spain, she had never managed to speak the language fluently. Then, despite never having lived in an English-speaking nation, she informed me she respected my command of the language. She also questioned how I managed to be so fluent. No trick was employed. I was not a genius of any type. Since I was a young child, my mother has always spoken to me in English. Nevertheless, I felt good about myself after that talk. She helped me see a positive aspect of myself. See, folks like that teacher provide excitement and engagement to any relationship by reminding us of our strength, those qualities we frequently overlook or take for granted. Some people are able to open our eyes and make us realize that we are more than we realize. We feel better about ourselves because of them. We naturally want to chat to them more and learn more about them as a result of this. Briefly, here's how to put that practice to use. Don't concentrate on persuading people of how cool you are. Show genuine interest in people and pause to consider their positive qualities. Rule number 3 of how to be charming: talk about yourself only when asked. Charming people typically reserve their self-promotion for when they are asked to, or when they have something to say that they believe will be of interest to you. They avoid bombarding you with unnecessary detail. They never give you dull or superficial responses when they talk about themselves. You may always expect new surprises from them. There was something unusual. If asked, they might chat about their most recent vacation to Thailand or the university's Japanese course they're taking. People that are charming discuss their interests, and taking you through their journey almost manages to enchant you. Every time you speak with them, you're inspired to chase your aspirations in the same way they do because of their infectious passion for what they do. If you inquire about their opinions, they will gladly offer their never shallow viewpoints. You get the impression that they are interested in your engagement with them, since they typically respond to you thoughtfully, keeping the conversation lively. Briefly, here's how to put this practice to use. Eliminate the desire to always talk about oneself. When describing yourself, say something amusing and, most importantly, pertinent to the discussion. Don't be glib when asked for your opinion. Instead, provide a thorough response. If you are getting value from this video, like, comment, and subscribe. Rule number 4 of charmingness: always follow through. Genuinely, charming individuals are known for keeping their promises. They do not consist only of all words and no action. Ordinarily, folks frequently say, "Let me know if you need any help," just to seem nice and give the appearance that they are considerate. But when the going gets tough and you turn to them for assistance, the response is frequently, "I'd really love to help, but..." There's always a but. This is not something a charming person will have. They will assist if they say they will. You can sure that within a week or so of them saying, "We should go for a meal sometime," they will have contacted you to suggest a time. Their remarks go beyond meaningless gestures, and it nearly spreads like a virus. Once you realize how great it is when someone is true to their word, you'll probably want to do the same for the other person. Briefly, here's how to put this practice to use. Avoid making commitments you can't maintain. Do what you promise to do when you say you'll do it. It's easy and it looks good. Rule number 5. Don't be afraid to discuss your weaknesses. Exposure to one's emotion is vulnerability. I realize it's frightening. It's also true, though, that sharing our weaknesses fosters intimacy and trust in our relationships. I suppose you might respect someone more when they reveal their flaws or acknowledge their errors. They become more human as a result. People who are likable don't hide their flaws or their experiences with adversity. They don't disguise themselves. There is nothing more wonderful than when people learn to value and embrace their shortcomings and true selves. Briefly, here's how to put this practice to use. Being vulnerable to others is unsettling, but it's what gives us genuine connections and what defines us as authentic. You can put this into practice by simply owning up to a prior error, discussing some of your worst concerns, or disclosing a flaw no one else is aware of. Rule number 6, be more inquisitive about others than they might expect. Likeable people have the trait of being curious about you, probably more so than you anticipate. If you stop to think about it, curiosity is what drives interesting dialogue. Let's be honest for a second. We find people more endearing when they show interest in our careers, interests and objectives, or whatever it is that makes us tick. Usually, it makes us want to converse and hang out with them more. It's good when others ask us open-ended questions about issues that are important to us, like our relationships or careers. People who are passionate about your life, work, your hobbies, and most important, your motivations are interesting. Spending time with them is enjoyable. Briefly, here's how to put that practice to use. Asking others smart questions will demonstrate your sincere curiosity. Be aware of their interests and proceed with intriguing, open-ended questions. Rule number 7, experience genuine pleasure when actively aiding others. An architect friend of mine recently told me about a time when he was driving and stopped to assist a woman with changing the tire on her automobile. He graciously declined her offer to pay him in exchange for his assistance and time. However, the woman questioned him about his job and where he worked while he was changing the tire. It seemed like a typical talk to him. 2 weeks later, he had his first encounter with a new client who had wanted him to create a new office complex for his business. The client shook his hand after the meeting and said, "My sister was right. You are truly a charming man, and it was a pleasure getting to know you. I feel in excellent care." He continued by telling me that this man was the woman he had helped brother. Charming individuals don't lecture you or tell you what they do, and they most definitely don't boast about their own accomplishments and lives. Instead, they actively assist you because they like doing it without asking anything in return, and they are likely to reject whatever reward that is presented. And even if you don't ask for their assistance, they are the ones who do. Briefly, here's how to put this practice to use. Simply put, helping others feels wonderful. Don't try to get anything in return for the good you do for others. I assure you that life gets a lot simpler. Thanks for watching. Be sure to like, comment, and subscribe. We'll see you in the next video.